Yay! It's Friday and rainy Friday. It's been thundering and lightning and everything at my house. So kind of yucky out there, but you know what? We're alive and well, and I love that. So we're coming to you today. This is Sandy and Friends. I don't have my background. I took my background down because I didn't because I've started watching all these people on that are working from home, and almost all of them do their live in front of their bookcase. Have you ever noticed? And I started watching what are people reading, and so I'm like, I want to show a few things that I'm reading. Although I realize that my books are on the shelf down below that, so I'm gonna have to move my books around. So anyway, it's Friday afternoon. We're having fun. We're here. We're going to talk about social media today because on Monday, Amy and I are going to be doing a course in our Through the Eyes of Authors group called Social Media Made Easy. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today because if you're interested and if you're not interested in social media, you should be. And we want to give you an opportunity to sign up for just the 1 month of the course if you're interested. So today, Friday, social media, where do we want to start, you guys?
I think it's interesting, the name social, social media, because really and truly, that's the goal of it is to have interactions with people. And I see, I have made really great friends whom I have never met.
Yep, me too.
There's a lot of people that I dialogue with on there, and we interact, and we have sometimes really like in-depth discussions on some topics, and it's and I don't know these people. I mean, other than online, but I feel like I do know them.
Yeah.
Because we're friends online. So I don't know. It's an interesting medium. And then
have you ever wondered that, like, if you ever met them in person, would it be starting from scratch on your friendship, or do you already have this relationship?
I think definitely it wouldn't be starting from scratch, because actually that is something that has happened, like, since I work with the Houston Writers Guild, and I have had some people that come to the conferences that I met online, and we've had interactions and friendship online, and then I meet them in person, which is always kind of fun. I think it's really fun to meet them in person. So and it's
almost like home week or something. It's like, oh my gosh. So I know.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
It is. I think it's cool too. Amy, have you had any similar experiences, or what is for the millennial of the group? What is it like when you meet someone that you know from Facebook or one of the others and you hadn't met them before?
Well, that's what I was just thinking, because I know, Fern, you were, just saying about how when you meet people in person that you've only connected with online, you're so excited about it. And I feel like for a lot of people, it's the opposite, right? Because for me, I mean, Lord knows I'm not an introvert. Okay. I'm an extrovert as possible. Okay. But it's almost like, not that you create a persona online on social media, but you do. I mean, let's just be real. You do. And so when you meet someone in person, it's like, oh, it's in person. Like sometimes it's hard to start that conversation, where on like social media and just texting or whatever, it's easier to do than having to look the person in the eye. And like you laugh at something and maybe they don't find it as funny, but in a text message, you know how many people say LOL with a straight face, right? Yeah. I mean, you're laughing on the inside, but it's like, oh, that was funny, LOL. So it's like in person. I don't know. I think for me, there's always that like unknown, where it's like, oh, is it really going to be like just straight off the bat, like we pick up, we've known each other for a long time, or is it better that we just keep it online and just socially communicate, like keep that distance? I don't know. I feel like I feel like a bunch of people are like that. A lot of the millennials that I I talk to, they're more social online than in person, which is, I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Do you think that's a bad thing, or you think it's
I don't think it's either bad or good. I think it's just different people, different personalities, and different interactions. But I do remember that time, Amy, you and I went to that thing with Tony Harris, where it was everybody Facebook friends get together, and you had to go around from table to table introducing yourself. And each person took turns.
That had wine involved, okay? My personality comes out with wine. It shines, okay?
These were people that I had met on Facebook, not Amy. However, by the end of the night, Amy was as friendly with them as I was.
Hey, wine does that. Wine does that.
It does.
I do have to say that Ashlyn had a great comment about, on social media, you do have time to think about what you're going to reply versus on, face to face. Although, if you're a fast typist like myself, sometimes you can be a little bit too fast for your own good and click down and
Yep.
really think about it.
I've done that. Oh man, I've done that.
There has been times, I remember one time in particular, this was during Harvey, and I get real defensive if somebody, criticizes a friend of mine. And so people were talking, I'm not even going to say who or what, because I don't want to start anything here, but people were talking about who was opening up their home or their business or their church or their whatever and letting people come in. And so I was reading this one post where this person was being extremely critical and saying, they never let people in. They never are friendly. They blah, blah, blah. And I wrote a post that was like this long on Facebook. And then I'm like, what am I doing? This is ridiculous. I sound worse than they do. And I actually just deleted the whole thing and I didn't even respond. I'm like, nope, not going to respond. And so that happens a lot of times when somebody's doing this, this controversial thing back and forth, sometimes political, sometimes religious, sometimes just whatever, that I type out everything I would like to say to them. But then I'm like, no, I delete it all. So I do think that gives me a chance to delete it.
Yeah.
Where if I was saying it to someone in person, there is no deleting.
But it makes you feel better when you type it. I mean, I've done that.
I know.
Then you feel bad. You have to delete it. You're like, oh man, this is too hard. But I got to hit the delete button. I mean,
there have been many, many emails and and texts and stuff that I've typed up and then I've sat there looking at them for a bit and and I've read them like 3 or 4 different times because I am aware too that there is no context.
Yeah.
They're not going to get my voice, the tone of voice. They're not going to get my face. They're not going to see my body language. And so it's, I try very hard in some instances because some conversations are really hard. And some emails and texts are hard to send, and so, and even on Facebook, some comments I'll sit and think about them for a little bit before I and I'll edit them. And then sometimes
it's all the coffee. Eshlyn says it's all the coffee.
It's the coffee. It is the coffee.
Yes.
My favorite mug, y'all. My favorite mug. I love it.
No, I mean, I agree with that statement so much because I always say social media is a good and it's a curse at the same time. It's good. It's brought so many people together all over the world that you wouldn't be able to meet and do all these things. But then it's also, it hasn't instigated. So please don't quote me on saying it's instigated problems because that's not it. But it's become I don't even know the best way to say it. So I'm just going to say it. You guys know me and you guys know what I mean. If I don't say it right, you guys can fix it. But it's like, it's become, where you can voice your opinion, which is great. I think that's fantastic. But it's also become almost like on a personal profile, right? Not on a business and stuff like that. It's totally different. but on like a personal one, it also becomes where you can get bullied.
Oh yeah.
Easily. Like so easily. Man, you remember back in the day, I mean back in my day, okay, my day, but like in school and stuff, you would pass notes. We weren't like texting until you got like a phone, you know, the texting phone, like a little flip phone. You felt so cool because you had the razor phone. You could text. It was great. And so then like the bullying was in notes and stuff, but now it's online and so many other people have access to doing it. And it's just kind of made it so easy to bully. And I'm not even talking like, you know, bullying like in schools and stuff. Like, I'm not even talking about that. I mean, you can just bully adults in any aspect, anything you can just say. I mean, you can do some crazy stuff with social media on a personal level, right? And so it's like, man, and
that brings up the whole thing of the trolls. I mean, because, you know, trolls are like just professional bullies. Basically, I mean, they've taken bullying to a whole other level of, you know, I remember when Star Wars, The Last Jedi came out, and, you know, it was a movie that was dichotomous. There were people who adored it, like myself. I really felt like I connected to that movie so much. I loved the messages and you know, Luke kicked ass. But anyway, there were people who hated it. And then, and I remember the one lady actress on there that she got bullied and she ended up, you know, deleting her social media page. I don't remember the lady's name, but she did a great job in the film. She was a great actress, you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, isn't that crazy though? Like it has that big of a power and influence in people's lives that they have to like Ashley said right here. She said that's why people tend to hide or put their best face forward. So it's almost, you know, going back to where you create this persona and like life is just happy and puppy and rainbows. And we all know that is just so far. If your life is puppy and rainbows and just happy all the time, I mean, that's great, but shit happens, okay? Life gets real. Life gets real. And if you're not showcasing that on social media, which I'm all about. I mean, I try not to put my daughters on there a whole lot in pictures. I do for my grandmother, and so you guys could see. But it's like, you know, I shelter them from that because they're mine. Like, not in a selfish thing. I love you guys, and you guys see them on, like, you know, you guys have authors and stuff, and I love to share them, and I'm proud of them. But they're, you know, it's the one thing that I have that I don't have to put out there to the world.
And you know what's interesting about what Ashlyn said, that you do put your best face forward, right? You put positive stuff up there. We were taught, I don't know about y'all, but I was raised that you don't air your dirty laundry.
Yes, girl, yes.
So, you know, there have been some posts occasionally that burst out of me. Go and delete because I'm like, too TMI-ish. Let's get rid of it.
And you hit post before you delete it.
I hit post, and then, you know, I have to go in and get rid of it. But you know, a few people already saw it. But the thing that's interesting about putting your best face forward is that then you have the people who hate you for it, who literally are jealous of your life, and somehow they erroneously believe that your life is fantabulous and that you have no problems of any kind, and you're just a happy, joy person. And that's just not true. I mean, I have all kinds of problems. I have all kinds of negative interactions that I have to deal with, you know. I've gotten some great flowers from some lovely gentlemen, but I've also had to like cut them off because, you know, it turned out that they just weren't great for me and stuff. And so, I mean, you know,
life happens. Life happens. It's not puppies and rainbows all the time, people. Like, it's just not, okay? Like, it's not. It's not reality. You can't, you know, so you know that that's just like a facade. But in terms of business, though, social media is pretty awesome.
It's like the easiest way ever to get the word out to a significant number of people. And these are not just to the, like, even in a press release or something, it's not like that where it just goes out to the unknown into the world, but it actually goes to people who have said yes to following you or said yes to being on your list and all of that. So there is already a connection before you post something and they see it. So, but Fern, I was going to say, so I'm older than you. So how I was raised was specifically that women didn't get a chance to speak. So when my family got together, the women were in the kitchen cooking. Now they did talk among themselves, but the men would be in the other room. So you didn't really get a chance to talk to the men or anything, or say anything, that they thought was life altering and all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited. So one of the things I love about social media is I'm excited for the opportunity that females, young and old, have an opportunity to at least state what they believe or not. We have a choice, but we have a voice. And I have a granddaughter, and Ashlyn will know that she was actually in Ashlyn's family when Ashlyn was part of my grandchildren. That she speaks out. She's a school teacher. She speaks out, and she has had some family friends really just critique her, say horrible things about her and to her. And I'm like, what? I just think we should all be open to everyone expressing their voice, having a voice. So
yeah, that is the beauty of it, is that you get to be yourself. And and some people do, and you do put a little bit of persona element to it, because I know who I want to be as an author, Fern the author, but also, Fern the author isn't that really far from Fern the real person.
Right.
They're pretty similar.
Fern the author.
They're pretty connected.
The person in charge is Fern the person, and then there's Fern the author, and Fern the publisher, and Fern the shuffleboard player.
Oh, Fern the shuffleboard player had a great week this week, ladies and gentlemen. He had a great week. But like what James was posting about the Facebook wars. Oh my gosh, sometimes you read those things and how people go, back and forth and back, and you're like, you're not changing anybody's mind. And when it devolves into like insults,
that's crazy.
At that point, you got to just go, okay, this is no longer worth the discussion. You just got to withdraw.
Yeah. I will say though, as like someone that watches it, so my neighborhood has a Facebook group. Okay.
Oh my.
It's so great. Oh my gosh, it's so great. So we have like an HOA, right? And so there's always drama. Like, oh, I got this notice from the HOA. Why didn't they come tell me to my face? Joe Blow has this colored door. Why can't I have my neon yellow vibrant door? Right? And then you have everybody and their mother that's just like defund the HOA and then doing all this stuff. And you can't help but laugh because these people, you get hashtag defund the HOA, and then you have all these people that are just like heckling this guy. And it's just like, I will say, I don't encourage Facebook wars, but they do benefit me because I get a good laugh. So I appreciate it sincerely. I really do.
You have to look at what people go to war for. Honestly, are you really going to go, all out offensive over a neon yellow door? Really?
It's a happy door. If you walk by it, it's just like, ooh, yay, yellow. Just makes you so happy, like it's very nicely done. It's very nice.
Some people are always going to complain if somebody else gets something and they don't get it.
I hate that. But
I know.
But you find that on anything. Even if you use social media as a business and these people opt in to follow you and what you're offering, there's still, I call them haters, but it's still the haters out there that are going to complain, and it doesn't matter what you do. Because some people will never be happy. And so that is like showcased. But I think from a personal standpoint, there's good and bad to social media. But I think from a business standpoint, if you're not on social media, then you're not making a smart business decision. I mean, that's just me. I mean, I do social media all the time.
I agree. And I think whether you are an author, which that's most of our people in our community are authors. And if you're an author and you want people to know about you and know about your books, you have got to be active on social media. People have got to see and hear from you, and not about your book all the time, although occasionally you should mention that, but just who you are. Who are you? Because people want, especially an author. When I read a book, like I read the life story of, oh crap, his name just went away. But he was the guy in South Carolina that wrote An Officer and a Gentleman.
Ooh, that was
Pat Conroy.
Yeah.
And I read his life story, and honestly, I wanted to get my hands on everything the guy wrote, because he had such a heart-wrenching story with his father and all this stuff. So I think any time that you let people just see a little bit about you and get to know you, then they're going to want to read they're going to want to follow you wherever you go, and whatever you write, they want to read it. And so I think that's one of the best ways, and the fastest, most direct way of reaching them is social media.
Yeah. And one of the things that you mentioned is about, your business. And like, I have obviously I have Inklings. I have my own author person, and I also have my real estate, and, and you do have to post things to build that up. But you have to also balance it out with, you don't want to be hitting people over the head with just your book. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of authors do, is they get real into it and they're posting everything about their book. And then they forget that it's social media. It's not advertising media.
And there's only so much you can say about the book. No matter how wonderful it is, no matter what the story is, you run out of things to say about a book, after a few weeks. So people don't.
But they've lost sight of them as a reader, right? Because as a reader, you don't want to be sold to constantly all the time, right? I mean, nobody wants that. Even an e-commerce based business, a coaching based business. I don't want you to sell me your coaching program every damn post that I look at. Like, no, I want to know you as a person. I want to make sure that if I'm going to invest however much money I'm going to invest in your program or whatever, that we're a good fit. Personalities match. I can relate to you. You can understand. I have 2 kids under 2. I work from home. My husband's crazy. My life is chaotic, right? I want to feel like you understand that and can relate to me before I invest all this money in you, which is in turn investing in myself, right? And it's the same for authors. I mean, if I'm a reader and I love sci-fi or I love fantasy, and all you're doing is pitching your book in the sale and la la la, and here's how much your book is, I'm not going to read your book. And it's nothing. Well, no, it is against you, because you're constantly posting about your book and buy my book, buy my book, buy my book, instead of what events are you at? What other steps, in your writing journey are you doing? Do you have other genres out there? What about some other people, that are your writers' friends that have good fantasy books that you can recommend to me that are similar to yours, right? Like building the relationship and the network and just having a social conversation with your readers. I think that's the mindset that people don't understand when they're just, all they hear is like, I need an ROI, I need to make money from my books. And it's like, yeah, but you're hurting your fan base and your readers and your following by pushing that hustle all the time, I mean, I think
I look at Stephen King, I really had very little interest in his books. He just didn't appeal to me as just in the genre, right? But since I followed him on Twitter and stuff, and I've read more and more of what he posts, and he is so funny. He is funny and he's genuine, and he read a lot of what he says resonates with me, just as a person. I mean, I've started buying his books and reading his stuff, and I wasn't sold on his book I was sold on him as a person, just following him.
I think that's a perfect example of reading something that you would not have read otherwise. Like I'm the same way with quite a few authors that I'll just use Pat Conroy again because I watched the movies and I wasn't that thrilled with them or anything, but then somehow in some magazine or something they had an article about him, and I read it and read the stories and read about his father and the abuse that he had, and I'm like, oh my gosh! So no wonder he can write with such, empathy as he writes. So I just fell in love with him and read everything after that. So I did want to say, because we're running out of, I can't believe it's been almost 30 minutes. If you need help with your social media, if you want to learn how to do your own social media much more effectively than you currently are, and at a very, very, very reasonable price, we're going to be teaching this. The three of us, Fern, Amy, and I are going to be teaching Social Media Made Easy. And we're going to go over like getting started. How do you get started? What content should you use? What is your strategy? What is your goal? Why are you on there to start with? What do you want to accomplish? That's going to be like the beginning of it. Then we're going to go into some of the tools that you use, some of the things that are so important. Amy's going to talk about hashtags, when to use them, how to use them effectively. So we got a whole month of this planned. And we're planned it specifically for the members of Through the Eyes of Authors. That's our membership program. And it's $50 a month. And we normally don't take a 1 month membership, but we are going to let people in be part of this course because it is the most needed course that we've done in a long time. And you just want to make your social media more effective. So if you're interested, Amy, on the Facebook, we'll put the link to go sign up. We're starting Monday. It'll be for the month of May, all 4 Mondays. We will be recording them. So if you can't make it all 4 Mondays, or if you can't make it any Monday and you want to be part of it, then will that show up on Facebook, Amy?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that is cool.
Boom shakalaka.
Huh?
I said boom shakalaka.
Like, oh. So anyway, go click on that link, check it out. We'd love for you to be there. And then we want to talk about one other thing before we have to go, and that's our book box subscription service. And Amy, I'm gonna let you tell them about the website where they can go to check it out.
Oh yeah, because that's gonna be fun.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I guess it's being kicked to me. Okay. So our book box subscription, I guess, monthly service that we're offering, all you have to do is go to bookloversdelight.com and you can kind of see. So let me kind of give you a background behind it. So what it is that each month there's a different theme of the box. There also will be a different author and their book in the box. Now there's going to be indie authors to small press authors and kind of YA to everything in between, adult, general audience and adult, kind of everything in between, along with some other goodies that kind of go along with it, and author swag in the box. So you get limited stuff from the author, a great book by an indie author, because I know that there's, New York Times bestsellers and stuff like that, but there are some other really talented writers that have fantastic books out that indie published or went with a small press instead of one of the big ones. And so we're trying to highlight them and get these awesome books into other readers' hands just to kind of show support of other authors than just New York Times bestselling authors. So we're super excited about doing this. The URL again is bookloversdelight.com. So just check it out. Feedback is always welcome, but we're super excited about diving into this endeavor and kind of just getting more books into readers' hands and different options for them. So, yeah.
And it's something I was remembering back in the day, pre-internet, I think. I was part of like a double day book club. and
Yeah.
you got like books in the mail, just random books in the mail, and you filled in like your interest card or something like that, and then then you had catalogs of additional books you could buy, and I mean, oh my gosh, that was just like I was in heaven getting my Doubleday books every month. So
I remember that. I had forgotten about that, but I do remember because it was in every magazine. Every book you read had the little advertisement to sign up for that. Oh yeah, I had forgotten all about that.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, for a book lover, someone who just is an avid reader and adores books just in general, yeah, that was like divine. I was like, what am I getting now? And then we didn't get goodies in those boxes. It was
That's true. All you got was the book.
Just the book.
I remember it was a pretty reasonable price though, like dirt cheap or something. But because I signed up for it a few times with different books. But yeah, so it's very similar to that. The book, and honestly, I had never heard of this before. So thank you, Haley, for telling us about it. Because once I started doing the research, I was like, oh my gosh, there's like lots of them out there. Yeah. So I love that you can sign up for the genre that you want or you like to read, and that's the books you get. But if somebody else likes science, like I love mysteries, I love cozy mysteries, and somebody else likes science fiction or sci-fi or something like that, then we both get the books we like. I think that's just too cool. That is the coolest thing. And thank you, Amy, for thinking that this was something that we shouldn't just read about and research, but it's something we should do. And we're so excited about it.
Yeah, and what makes it really unique is what Amy just said about it's indie authors. So you get a chance to meet authors you would not necessarily meet otherwise. So it's a great opportunity and really well vetted. You're not going to get, that.
Yeah, you're going to get really good books. But I mean, I think the most exciting thing, is you don't have to spend the time researching to find another good book because we've already done and put in that time for you. And you're going to get a book that you're guaranteed to like or that someone else in your family will like. But I mean, you have an option. You can get the physical book in the box with all of the swag and goodies that we put in there. Or if you're more of an ebook lover, then we have that along with some extra author swag that you can get. So there are different options that you can do. But I mean, we all love authors, love working with authors. And so any way that we can support them, especially indie and small press authors, that's kind of the whole goal. It's just to encourage readership and, small authors that you wouldn't know about. So we're all super excited about it. It's a new endeavor. And, we're all about, doing new things.
And so if we get a box and it's got an author in it that we're not familiar with and you love the book, that's what I love is that now I can go, read more books by that same author. I can go order them myself and get them ebook or audio or whatever format that I like to read in. I really prefer ebooks just because when I'm going somewhere, I like to be able to read whatever book I'm reading. I want to be able to read it on my phone. So I love ebooks because of that. So yay. Well, that's all wonderful. So we got a lot going on. I mean, a lot going on. So I'm really excited.
We're not sitting here twiddling our thumbs, we're doing plenty of stuff. But yeah.
Well, I'm glad, Fern, you still have time to go do your shuffleboard thing and be on.
Well, yeah, I'm not changing that because I'm having way too much fun at that stuff, y'all.
That's great. That is great.
I'm getting good at it. I was
good at it.
So, Amy, we're just about time for us to shut it down. So, anything you want to close with?
No, I mean, I just, if you are curious about social media, you've been trying to do it and it's not working, then come and hear us out and, see if we're a good fit to help you with your social media. Because, maybe my personality doesn't fit with you, but I've been doing social media for almost 10 years. And I can tell you right now that there's probably some things that I know that could benefit you. So just come and check us out, through the eyes of authors. We're super excited about it. And if you're a book lover or someone that loves book, send them to Book Lovers Delight and just check it out. We're always down for feedback, changes, whatever. We're just starting it and we're learning as we go. So just feedback is always great. But no, I mean, this is great. I love coming on with you guys. So
Fern, what you got?
Not much. I mean, this makes my Friday. I love it.
That's mine too. I know. We were thinking, oh, it's Friday. We get to do our live Sandy and Friends broadcast. So that's awesome. I love it.
Like my week is just exciting because I've got my critique groups on Tuesday and Thursday. And I am so excited because I feel like I'm watching season episodes of these books, right? These next installment of the story, and stuff. And then I've got my shuffleboard in the middle, and then I end the week with you guys, and it's divine.
It is divine. So I want to say thanks to all the people we had today making comments. Ashlyn, especially you were just carried on a real ongoing conversation with us, and that's awesome. So so thank you for that and all the others. So go ahead and sign up for the 1 month if you want help with your social media, and you'll love it. You will love the course and love the other people. So we look forward to meeting you, and we'll see you guys
next Friday.
Are we having a social Saturday tomorrow?
Oh yeah, yes. The Guild is having their social Saturday tomorrow, so you definitely want to go and hop on there and chat if you're.
I definitely want to be there, and also want to remind people that in June, so we have 1 month now, and we'll have our the Houston Writers Guild will be having our events, and there will be speakers there, great speakers, and then there's some agents. So if you just completing your book and you hope to get with Random House or one of the big 5 publishers or some of the others that only accept manuscripts with an agent. So we've got some agents that will be there that you can practice pitching to them. So lots of good stuff on that. So have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday morning for Author Talk.